Hello, my love. So let's dive into the concept of cause and effect. This is probably going to blow your mind a little bit. I know it did for me. And the idea of this cause and effect is who is responsible for change in your life? Is it other people that are responsible or is it myself? So the question I like to ask myself is, what side of the cause and effect equation am I on? And it's not always easy to ask this question. So cause causes certain effects, right? And if we're on the cause side of the equation of our life, then we create the effects in our life. So being at cause is the same thing as saying creating your own reality. What it's saying is that you have a choice about how you experience your life. And there will be a lot of people who say they don't have a choice. I've been there before where I've been resentful and angry and frustrated and sad at other people because they did things to me, right? That I didn't have a choice, that I felt this way, that is actually being an effect. So what we're saying is that we do have a choice, and the choice is how we perceive a situation and what we do with that information. So it's like we have the sum total of life experiences, our personal history, our beliefs, our values, our programming, our filters of how we see space, time, matter, people, right? All those things have brought us to where we are today in life. All our choices have put us where we are today too. And we create stuff subconsciously or unconsciously. We all do. It's just how we see the world and then what we make it to mean. So we can believe what we want, but it's our belief, right? And that's an amazing thing. And so there may be a lot of other reasons that you experience what you're experiencing, but you do have a choice to see what you see and how you perceive it. So the question to ask yourself is like, am I on the cause side or am I on the effect side of any given situation? And I find that we either have reasons or we have results, right? So for why we didn't or did get what we want, right? I see this all the time. Well, I didn't get the results because, I didn't complete this step, or I didn't get results because this just doesn't work, right? I've done that before. So we may notice that we have a lot of reasons in our life. And then we have a lot of people in our life that support those reasons, right? So I see these in the health groups all the time, like groups for endometriosis and mold groups and Hashimoto's groups, where everyone in the group has that disease, right? And so then we identify with that disease so much. And oftentimes those groups can make us really depressed and hopeless and reinforce the reasons and the beliefs that we can't heal. So at She Talks Health, what we want to do is empower you with the tools to help you to make change so that you can move out of that effect place where everything's happening to you and move into the being at cause place. Now, one quick note, because I know my ladies love to make everything your fault. What we're not saying is that when horrible things happen to you, that it's your fault, right? You didn't cause something to happen to you, right? Well, we're not saying that you need to blame or shame yourself. What we are saying is, how are we choosing to move forward? How are we choosing to grieve? How are we choosing to experience this? Someone could say that you're responsible. I'm taking responsibility for my actions without blaming. All right. So I know a lot of people that I've worked with, and I'm definitely someone who I've had to work on this a lot. It's like, I just point the finger inside. I point the finger at myself. And then it's like, well, I suck and I'm a bad person and I should change, and all these shoulds and negative things about ourselves. And that is honestly just detrimental, because the truth is that things do happen to all of us in life and they're not all enjoyable. And sometimes they just straight up are terrible. And over time, sometimes, depending on the event, we can learn something from them. We can grow and we can create experiences in our life, you know, within reason. So it's basically about considering, how am I taking responsibility? And that's not the same thing as taking on shame and blame and piling onto yourself. That doesn't help. We want to give you the tools so that life can be exciting and abundant, so that you don't always have to feel like you are reactive to what happens. So how are things impacting me? And then being able to decide how you move forward from there. This phrase always kind of makes me laugh with cause and effect. It's like saying, when we're in effect, it's like saying, if they all did what I needed them to do, then I would be just fine. Right. So there was an example in one of the groups that I was in where someone's boyfriend wasn't taking care of his own health, and the woman was really upset about it, and she had like pleaded with him to change his own health, and he just was like refusing to do anything. And she realized that she could not be a cause for her boyfriend's health. She couldn't make him change anything, but she could be a cause about how she dealt with the situation, and how what she chose was she wanted to take care of herself for herself, but also to lead by example and show that there were some new boundaries for her with her health and what she was going to do. And he could either get on board with that or not, but that's what she was going to be doing. She was going to be changing her diet. She was going to be changing how she hydrated, how she cared for herself, how she got rest. And by doing this, he ended up taking responsibility for his health too. So that's just like an example of what I mean, where it's like, we might not be able to control what other people do, but what is in my sphere of influence? How can I interact with the situation? Can I take a step back? Could I help someone else? Could I help myself so that it does help someone else? You may not be able to change a situation, but we can be a cause of how we interact with it. How do we feel about this? How do we think about it? How willing am I to try out different resources and tools to better myself? One of my mentors said, I didn't enjoy getting divorced, but I dealt with it by being at cause and allowing myself to grieve in the way that I saw fit. I thought, wow, that is such a big, heavy thing. She was so going through it with this divorce. And yet she was like, I'm going to choose how I go through this divorce, because she had gone through the training and she realized she had a choice. That's one where, honestly, my belief before talking to her about that day would have been like, wow, you don't have a choice. It's going to, just be awful for months and years. And that's the way it is. And she was like, yeah. And I also chose like how to process through that. Like, wow, how empowering is that? So who's driving the bus? Who is in charge of the results that you produce? It's us, right? We are in charge of the results we produce. And if we're at the cause side of the equation, then we're the ones that create the results. And if we're at the effect side, we have a lot of reasons why we don't get what we want. And I just find that the reason side, the effect side, just isn't the best side of life. It's not that empowering. So we want you to take power now, empower yourself now, so you can always be driving the bus. I find that usually when people come into the coaching, they are on the effect side. I know I was. I always thought other people were doing things to me and that I had no control. For a long time, I thought like my doctors failed me, or I would say things like, because of my Hashimoto's, I can't do this. And I said that for years. That was actually me reacting to things that had happened to me in a way that wasn't empowering anymore. And all it did was make me limited. So we want you to be totally in charge of your life. We want you to think about, where are you at cause and where are you at effect in your life? And I think that that's a great journaling prompt from this video. If you think about these different areas of your life, your movement routine, your health in general, your relationships with other people, like, are there things where you're like, I really want to be empowered in this? I actually want to take charge of this. And where are you like, kind of like, I'm really like reactive to this, right? And maybe just journal on that and see what that brings up for you, so that you can hopefully be more empowered. So that's cause and effect, and I'll see you on the next video.